Yo, welcome back to Healthy Don't Hurt. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful week. Had to start the stream over. Your boy was having technical difficulties. I almost showed, my collection of big booty women. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I had some weird tech issue with the camera. Still having it, fam. What is going on? Let's see if we can change this camera angle. I'm gonna do this on the fly. Am I that guy? Do I have what it takes? I do have what it takes. I'm Himothy. Oh yeah, let's get it. Okay. Wow, I'm so pleased with myself. All right, so yeah, man, let's get into the topic here. So, you guys see the description in the video. Man, I'm having all types of issues today. My life is a mess. The description in the video is inflation will continue until morale improves, man. And that's just the straight up truth, man. Like honest to God, this inflation stuff is crazy. So inflation's moving at about a 4% rate, and as you guys know, the typical rate in which people get promoted is at about 3%. That's if you're lucky, and that does include, that includes bonuses, unfortunately, and it's just making it really tough for people to live, to support their families. I'm gonna be real with you, man. You got to be an opportunist to survive. Just to survive, you have to be an opportunist, and you damn near got to be not a scammer, but you got to be like a cold-hearted baron just to thrive. But yeah, let's take a look. We're gonna take a look at a few things that I find interesting. If you guys want to add to the conversation, let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you guys are having a great day. And God bless as well to you and your family and all your future endeavors. Today is Saturday. It's May 25th. We were given a we're given a new day, man. It's truly a gift, and I know, like, inflation's making it hard, our economy is making it hard. We have, unfortunately, a crazy political. We have a crazy political event going on currently at the moment. Lots of people are getting stressed out over it. And there's just a lot of changes, bro. There's just a lot of changes as usual, But I just encourage people to stay strong, stay resilient, and most importantly, like adapt with the change. I can't tell you how important it is for you to adapt with change, and don't feel bad for being an opportunist. Leverage your strengths against other people's weaknesses, against companies' weaknesses, against the government's weaknesses, because we're all just trying to survive and to protect and maintain a high quality of life. But yeah, let's take a look. So this is ChatGPT. For those of you that do not know, this is AI. This is automation intelligence. This is what is taking a lot of people's jobs, and you're going to see why. So, and not only is it taking people's jobs, it's also giving people a lot of jobs. Unfortunately, AI gets a bad rap. Like, I don't know why people be going so hard on AI. Like, I know it's getting rid of some jobs, but it's also changing people's lives. It's mainstreaming a lot of tasks that people had to do, not only in Excel, not only with emails, but with everything, with databases, with communication. You know how old heads they hate calling customer service because they're talking to a robot. That's even a form of AI, and it's just changing. It's changing everything, bro. Like even Walmart got rid of their cash registers, and everything is now self checkout. That is also AI. So we just got to be able to adapt and just identify opportunities to make money, opportunities to grow and develop, and to even start a new career or a new industry. So the reason why like this inflation thing is kind of bothersome is because of this. So let's take a look. We're just gonna go ahead and see what the average salary is for the average American. And this is ChatGPT. This is free of charge. Anybody can use this. What is the average income? And so you could pretty much ask this thing any question that you have. You can ask ChatGPT, and it'll come back with the accurate answer. It's pretty accurate. What is the average income in America? And this could be so useful. Like a lot of people, they like to cry wolf, especially I love my black people, but we like to cry wolf about how there aren't opportunities to learn and grow. We have this is pretty much Google on steroids. ChatGPT is literally Google on steroids. The reason why I say that is because if you Google something, you get like ads, you get sponsors, you get other unrelated information instead of like just the answer. This gives you strictly the answer. So yes, you guys can see the average household income is about $68,700 annually per household. Let's see what the average income is per person. Is the average income in America per person. And this will shock you. Per person. Let's take a look. Alrighty, so it looks like the average income is at about $35,977. So what this number tells me right here is that not everybody is working 40 hours a week per household, because this would be a little bit over 75,000. It would be or this would be a little bit over 70,000. It would be closer to $72,000. It would be just short per household. Now, this isn't what bothers me, right? Because this it is what it is, right? Now, I can definitely easily show you guys how to make much more than this. And to be honest with you, how much is this hourly? How much is hourly? And like, this is just the reality, bro. This is real life, fam. And that's what we talk about over here. We talk about real life. So the average income is about 35K per year. That's $17.30 per hour. That's pretty discouraging. Now, a lot of people, for some reason, we are currently on this wave where people really don't want to work all like that. And people got something to say, you feel me? Which I understand. Everybody has their own opinion, but a lot of people are giving up on the American dream. They're giving up on home ownership, which we're going to cover here shortly. And they're giving up on the possibility of them being financially free. They're kind of accepting, debt slavery. They're accepting pretty much low wages, renting everything forever, not being able to go to Disney World, because times have changed. There was once a point in time in our life where like the mother could stay home, the dad could go to work in like a factory, and you could have 3 kids, a white picket fence, a dog, and still be able to go to Disney Channel, still be able to go to Disney World twice a year, be able to pay for your kids' college. You could live a fruitful and full life. But now with the way things are going, it's just really choked the life out of people. It's choked the ambition out of people. People don't have drive anymore because they're like, what's the point? What's the point of applying myself? What's the point of going to college if I'm not going to be able to pay the student loan debt back? You have people just taking out large loans out and just not paying it back. They're either filing for bankruptcy, or they're like, hey, catch me if you can. You can freeze my bank accounts. Joke's on you. I don't have any money in there. You know what I'm saying? So this is a dangerous game, because like at this point, like with this climate that we have, you almost de-incentivize hard work. And this is what the boomers and Generation X, they love to come down on the millennials and this Generation Z. They love coming down on us for this, but look at what you left us with. So you guys can see the average pay. Now, I will also get into solutions as well. I'm a real big fan of giving the solution because everybody likes to talk about the problem, right? Everybody likes to bitch and moan and say how life isn't fair, but very few people are willing to give the solution. But I am very few people, so you guys are in luck, man. So let's check this out. This is the average. This is the average salary. This is the average salary requirement for you to have a house, right? So this really is just kind of disturbing. I'm not gonna lie to you, fam. I hope you guys can still hear me with me standing up. Like, look at this map, bro. Like, where do you want to live? Do you want to live in freaking West Virginia? Because $38,320 is the requirement. Like, do you really want to live in West Virginia? The average person per household can only afford, per person can only afford to live in West Virginia or in Ohio. And I'm not talking shit, right? Because I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm from PA. So like, we got our own set of problems. But like this is kind of discouraging for real. Like, how do you make somebody feel good about this, even in the bad areas, like the flyover states? Like, if you live in Hawaii, it's a wrap, fam. Look at Hawaii. Look at Hawaii, bro. Hawaii is $153,520 per year. That's how much you need just to be house poor. Just to be house poor, you need 153K. And there's been a lot of shady stuff going on with Hawaii because of the wildfires that have been going on. There's been a lot of shady reportings, because like their land like really burnt down, and it's weather beaten. It's been pretty much just destroyed by Mother Nature. And you have people coming into coming into Hawaii, giving people, who are hurricane victims, or whether it's forest fires, you have banks investing in these properties, and then you have them, like, pretty much just buying the property, clearing it out, and then they build a new luxurious home in Hawaii, and then they sell it for even more money. So they're really hiking up the price of real estate in Hawaii, so much so that it's practically unaffordable. Like, I never would have thought in a million years that, like, Hawaii, California would be that close to Hawaii. Like, that's kind of nuts, bro. Even Alaska, you need 67K. So, like, how do you tell somebody, like, hey, the average income is 38K, you're gonna need at least on average about $55,000 just to be house poor, just to live paycheck to paycheck. And then once you do get your house, taxes and insurances continue to go up. I've worked as a data analyst for 3 years in the banking industry for one of the biggest banks in the nation, and so I help people professionally with their mortgages. Like, that's what I got paid for, bro. And, like, when you think of a mortgage is consistent of principal and interest, and this also contains their escrow. Their escrow is their taxes and their insurance. Their taxes and their insurance is skyrocketing, so much so that, like, a lot of people are going into foreclosure. People are coming out of retirement. People are in their 70s. They've been, living high off the hog for all this time. And then the school tax go up, the property tax go up, the insurance goes up 30%, and so your escrow goes up about, 40% altogether. And you didn't account for that. You didn't account for the increase. And I hate to say it, a lot of people's homes, their insurance and their taxes cost just as much as their actual mortgage for the land or for the property. So it's like, how do you motivate people? How do you motivate people to work hard with this going on, with this scenario? It's kind of like a setup for failure. I hate to say it. And so, even with that being said, like, you're one bad accident, a health scare, you losing your job, maybe you lost your car. You're one bad situation from losing your house. Texas is 66K. Oregon is 87, right? Because they said that everybody's moving from Cali. Everybody's going straight into Oregon. And New York is 91,000. Like, Jesus. And I don't know how New Yorkers do it. I'm gonna be real with you. New Yorkers are just built different, because they'll happily pay over $2,000 a month for a closet, and they'll be sharing bathrooms and everything. It's just like, I really wonder, like, how people are able to just accept paying that much money. And people are also going to Colorado. You feel me? So people are getting pushed out of California and multiple other states. But how do we fix this? Like, if the raise is only 3%, inflation's at 4%, and we haven't even gotten into the car market. The average car note is about $750. Let's see what the average car note in America. I have a vehicle. I have a car note too, so I'm talking from experience in America. Let's take a look. $568, man, for a new car, and $397 for a used one. And even that might be a little bit off. I'm gonna be real with you. My car note's $450, and I had good credit at the time, a really good credit. It went a little bit down currently because of some credit cards. They don't like it when you start using them credit cards up. But unfortunately, it's the name of the game, bro. Like, I have a 2018 Ford Edge, so it was newer with a lot of low miles. But I still feel the burn just like everybody else, and it's not even like a middle class thing. It's everybody, bro. You have people doing voluntary repos. A voluntary repo is where you just give them your car. You just tell the bank, hey, I can't pay for this. Can you guys please come and get this car? And they'll just, they'll ding off the credit score. If you can't pay off the rest, they'll take the car. They will sell your vehicle at an auction. And whatever the auction price is sold at, you'll have to pay back the rest. They subtract it from your principal balance. And there's a whole bunch of fees, And then the banks, the sad part is that when you buy these houses, when you buy these cars, the banks, they include, like, as a part of their business strategy and based on the economy, because they take all this data. They're literal data analysts, and all they do is calculate risk assessment, and the possibility for failure. There are tons of mathematicians and data scientists where that's all they do all day. So the banks, they actually account for you not paying, being able to pay this loan back. And people don't really realize it. And it's kind of like shady low key. Even credit card companies actually make more money when you don't pay your credit cards back. It is wild. And so I've worked in banking and I've seen people owe money on their card note. I've seen like $12,000 balances where somebody got their car repoed. And after about a year, they'll start sending you settlement offers. So if you owe 10 grand on your vehicle, they'll be like, all right, how about 4 grand? Can you give us 4 grand all in one lump sum by this date? And then so they'll keep sending the notices out, right? They'll keep sending the notices out. That way it's not 100% loss, because they want you to pay the money back, right? Or at least they want a percentage, anything. They want anything. Anything is better than nothing. And you would think the dealerships would kind of get screwed over in the process. The dealerships, they already sold the car. They got the loan from the bank, right? And then if the bank don't make money, if they don't make money from collections, from you going into the collections department, they'll simply get bailed out. Like, let's say a bank is really suffering, they'll get bailed out and they will sell. They'll sell all their customers to a different bank. It happens all the time. I work for one of the biggest banks in the nation, and what they did with mortgages and with auto loans is that if a bank failed, they would then acquire that customer. So let's say we have Bob. Bob has a 2018 Ford F-150, and so the bank that he ran the loan through, they went under. They went bankrupt. So what they would do is they would have an investor. And so let's say I'm an investor. I would buy that loan and whatever his loan is worth. So it's like your debt is literal property. And it's very interesting to see. And like, a lot of people be yapping about this on YouTube, but they don't work in the banking industry professionally. So they do have a general concept of how it works, but I don't think they really ever seen it on the back end. All the legal documents. There are a lot of legal documents that are being processed and they're being signed for all of these loans. But so yeah, so they would, I would be an investor and I would buy Bob's debt that he owes. And then the bank your new bank, they would be your new servicer. So you would have an investor for your loan, you would have an investor for your mortgage. And so pretty much sometimes you think you're taking money from the bank. You're not really taking money from the bank. The bank is actually sometimes just servicing your loan. Right. And an outside investor is the one that you actually borrowed the money from. So it's really interesting when you really see how many safety nets these banks have. And just working inside the banking industry really just showed me like how the economy truly really works. Right. And why people get upset when they're saying, oh, the banks are being bailed out. The banks are being bailed out. This is why, because the smaller banks buy up the bigger banks and the bigger banks will never crumble. There are some banks out there that have been around since before FCC regulations, before banking regulations. So imagine a period in time where like banking regulations didn't exist. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to show you guys what I mean real quick. All right. So when did banking regulations come into existence? So banking regulations are pretty much rules and regulations that are created by the government that banks have to follow. These are created so that the borrower and the people that are putting their money into the banks, so they don't get screwed over. It's for their protection. So FCC regulations, which when you really think about it, when you really see these numbers and these dates, it kind of makes you side eye some of these banks. So they passed on the Bank Companies Act in 1949. It came into force from March 16th, 1949, and changed to the Banking Regulations Act on March 1st in 1966. So we'll go right in between. We'll just call it 1966 at the latest. Now, one of the biggest banks in the world is Wells Fargo, right? So remember that date, 1966. And when is their founded date? So I think a lot of this stuff is ironic, right? Because a lot of people wonder why these banks are this big. So this bank was created and founded in 1852. So if this bank was created and found in 1852 and FCC regulations didn't take effect until the 1960s, they had almost 100 years of doing whatever they wanted. Right, so they could borrow, they could run rampant, they could provide predatory loans. These banks could do whatever they wanted. No one could tell them how to operate because there was no one to regulate. Right, the government did not have their hand. They didn't have their hand on their data, on their information, on the way they were conducting business. So and I apologize if the audio is kind of off. I'm in Pittsburgh and it's raining right now, bro. But yeah. So let's check this out. So back to inflation. So inflation is kind of wilding. People are feeling it. And there are multiple different ways on how you can beat inflation and even rise well above the average income, for you to have some breathing room, right? Because if you make 35K a year, which we had already established is the average income, you're not going to be able to breathe, right? It's going to squeeze the living crap out of you, and you're just not going to be having a good time. You're gonna be totally miserable. Now, ChatGPT, literally, you can ask this thing whatever you want it. So if you wanted to make more than the average income of $17.30 an hour, you can ask, what are some high paying skills? Now, you have people that cry wolf, that's cry about systematic oppression and cry about lack of opportunities, and it's where I come from, this, that, and the third. This is how you really get stuff done. This is how you really put money in your pockets. And this is stuff that I do and things that I research in my own personal time, so that I have a leg up on the competition, whether it's at work, whether it's, me investing in myself, whatever it is, I make sure that I'm strapped with knowledge. So you can see right here, right? Cybersecurity, cloud computing, project management, digital marketing, financial analysis and modeling, product management, sales and negotiation. So you can also do what software do corporate what software is used for corporate or high paying corporate jobs. ChatGPT is the stuff. I've been using this for a hot minute now too. Very pleased. So Microsoft Office, which is true, is unfortunate. You don't really need a degree to learn how to use Microsoft Office, even though a lot of people go to college for 4 years, just to be altering Excel spreadsheets. But yeah, so you have Microsoft Office that includes Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, which are just the meat and potatoes of business. To be real with you, every company uses Windows. And then they have a CRM, which is a customer relationship management software. This is used for like customer service. This is used for sales, and really anything where you have to have a customer's profile and you need information linked. First and last name, social security number, address, date of birth, things of that nature. That's all going to be listed and stored and managed inside a CRM software. And then you have Microsoft Excel, of course. Let me take a look. Data analysis and statistical software like Python, right? We talked about automation a lot. A lot of automation is done today using Python. So you're able to get a high-paying job by learning high-paying skills to learn Python. So let's say you didn't have money and you were broke AF. Where can I learn Python for free? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I can't get a job, I don't know how to do that. Well, you can figure out what it is, where you can learn for free. There are some places where you have to pay a little bit. And oh, look, what a shocker, YouTube is included in this list, right? Solo Learn's pretty good. I've used that. Coursera, Code Academy, python.org, which is what it sounds like. So website dedicated strictly toward Python, and even freecodecamp.com as well, which is also great. So let's say you wanted to be how much do junior data analysts get paid? My spelling is atrocious. My apologies, guys. So this is like, really how it's done. Now you can also look into trades as well, but you can clearly see this is well above the 35K mark, right? So you can actually get a house and be house poor. You can make just enough to live in, let's see, between 50 to 70K. What's between 50 and 75K? So we're gonna say it's about $63,000. So you can make enough money to live in Wyoming. Yay, yay, inflation. You feel me? You could live in Minnesota. Who the hell wants to live in Minnesota? But you guys get it. You could live in, arguably half of the states inside the country. And some you could live quite comfortably, my state included. You could live comfortably in PA, West Virginia, if you ain't got no kids and no student loan debt. Now, this is all doable, bro. Like it truly, really is, and it's hard out here for a pimp. So just try to stay focused, man. Try to stay focused. I know it's going to be a little discouraging, with inflation, but it's possible. And yeah, 35K is crazy. 35K a year is wilding. But ChatGPT is actually your friend. I know a lot of people are like hating on ChatGPT, and especially the old heads. The old heads can't stand AI. But this is how I'll be making my money, man. Like I see tools and resources that are available for free like this, and I use it to my advantage. And to be honest with you, we are all at risk to having our jobs be replaced by AI. TikTok just did a giant layoff just recently. It states TikTok plans a global layoff in operations and marketing. Let's take a look. Gotta zoom in because I am blind AF. There we go. Nice and big. Alrighty, so TikTok is planning to lay off large swaths of its operation and marketing force. Current employees briefed on plans told by CNN. The global layoffs expected to hit teams that handle user support and communications. I wonder why, because of AI, I bet you. And as well as content and marketing. TikTok's current global user operations team will be dismantled as a part of the move, and remaining. Dang, man, calm your ass down. This thunderstorm going crazy. The layoffs are expected to hit teams that handle user support and communications, as well as content and marketing. TikTok's current global user operations team will be dismantled as a part of the move, and remaining employees will be distributed among the company's trust and safety, marketing, content, and product teams. News of the layoffs was first reported by The Information. TikTok didn't respond to a request for comment. Of course not, because they're laying off people, and thousands of people aren't going to be able to feed their families. It would be a poor PR move for them to respond. Back to the article. Some TikTok employees were notified of the layoff Tuesday evening after the Information's report, when Adam Presser, the company's head of operations and chief brand and communications officer, Xenia Mucha, sent a message to the affected teams. The people said the layoffs had been in the works for some time, perhaps almost a year, but recent turnover in TikTok's marketing, trust, and safety and operations teams prompted delays. One of the employees told CNN. The layoffs are not related to the legal and political turmoil facing the company in the United States that could end in a potential network ban of the TikTok app. The person added, Sure it is. If you have to do business changes, you have to sell your company. And, a lot of times when companies need to sell their company, they have to fire people. They have to lay people off because it cuts their cost of operations. If you guys have ever taken a business class for accounting, or if you don't got to be in college, there's online courses too. You can obtain knowledge and information outside of these colleges, but not many people know that. But if you ever take a finance class, you'll learn that like when these finance bros get together and they're on the phone with like their accountants and their risk assessment teams, when they refer to their employees, they call them liabilities, right? Because in order for you to make profit, you have to have a product or a service. You have to have enough products or services being sold for the employee to create, modify, repair, or to sell. If there's not enough demand and people are still working, then it's a liability. You lose money, you lose profit margin. So they're trying to buff up their books. That way they can look overvalued. They're priced at their value higher than what they really are. But back to the article. It's unclear how many TikTok employees could lose their job. The Information reported that a large percentage of roughly 1,000 employees who work on the affected teams could be laid off. TikTok disclosed that it's 7,000 employees in the United States alone. Woo, man. So that's about a seventh of your workforce. That's about maybe 13 to 15% of your workforce is about to be let go, man. So you can see that these companies are moving differently, right? And they're moving differently. So when I say adapt and you have to change with the times, you have to see what they're doing and move accordingly. Because if you're not adapting, they're going to leave you behind, either by firing you, because you might have got replaced by AI, or maybe there's new technology that was released. And some people, unfortunately, they refuse to learn, man. Like, I hate to say it, people above the age of 45, especially, they refuse to learn new software, new databases, new techniques for business. They want to be stuck in their old ways, and those people will get phased out. That's why you see so many people that are executive positions. When they get fired, they can't get hired anywhere else, because where they left, they were getting paid so much, to do so little. And, it's not like they had to adapt or change or learn new tactics. So when they go to other companies that are moving with the future, they can't get hired because they can't pass the 5-panel job interviews, and sometimes it's more than just talking about your job, about the company and about yourself. Sometimes you have to show and tell. They want to see what you can do. They'll give you a test in Microsoft Excel. They'll give you a test in Power BI, which is used for data analytics. They'll give you a test in Python, or maybe SQL, SQL, so these are all things that you really want to think about, bro. Like, this stuff is pretty important if you want to make more money. If you want to keep your job, you just got to learn what's going on and where to go. That way you're prepared. Because if you're not prepared and you get caught with your pants behind your ankles, it's really a wrap. You feel me? It'll be game over. But yeah, so like one of my favorite places to go is Reddit. This is kind of like Facebook, except without all of the annoying people from high school. You know what I'm saying? But Reddit's cool. Reddit's definitely cool. And there is actually a lot of things that people are doing to beat inflation. My favorite one, what's it called? There's a Reddit group called Overemployed. That's what it's called. So, I talk about being an opportunist and finding crafty ways to make more money. And these people got to figure it out. Like, these are the type of people that I like. These are my type of people. So pretty much over here in Overemployed, this is a group where they talk about working more than one remote job simultaneously. So they'll get paid they'll be getting paid like 6 figures at 2 different jobs and be raking in like $200K. So it says Overemployed, work 2 remote jobs, reach financial freedom, join the Discord. So people have questions, they have success stories, and it's pretty cool, man. Like, let's take a look. Let me take a look. See if we get a good post going. Overemployed from 3 years. Man, I know they was getting paid. Oh, they didn't give that many details. Let's find a good post here. Let's take a look. All right. Employees cracking down on overemployed. So it says, I've been overemployed for several years now, since 2016. Wasn't as prevalent as it is now. But when COVID and everything went remote, I've never had a problem or even had thoughts cross my mind that my employers might find out. Recently, a family member asked me if any companies I work for were cracking down on weeding out overemployed employees because his company bought in a third-party vendor to start verifying financial records. Oh my God. So now they're hiring companies. They're now hiring companies to verify that you only have one job, and they're going through your bank statement. So pretty soon you have to do a financial background check, which is wild. In my personal opinion, I think this is really over. I wouldn't say like it's overboard. It's a violation of your privacy. I had never heard of anything like this before. Anyone seen this at your companies? Trying to see if this is becoming a trend. Let's see what the comments say. Someone said maybe they wanted to let people go, and this was his excuse. I would not provide bank statements to my job regardless. I wouldn't want to use the same bank, so they won't find anything. That's actually very, very smart, because I'm not sure if you guys ever worked in banks before. I have. And they really can't share your information without permission. So you can technically just hide. You can hide your where your money's going and just show them a dummy bank account from the job that you listed on your resume, and then that would be sufficient enough. Someone said all three of mines go into different banks. So this person is fully employed by three different banks. Like, holy crap. This is what I be talking about. This is what I like right here. People out here getting paper, screwing over these Fortune 500 companies. But yeah, so overemployed, you hear some pretty crazy stories. Let's see what a really popular one is right now. Let's see. Top. Do. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this live here. Appreciate everybody for taking the time to pop in. Here we go. This one's pretty good. Hey guys, I'm joining the team. Just got a verbal offer for a hiring manager an hour ago. They'll be sending me my offer to sign next Tuesday. It'll be my first time being overemployed. I'm a software engineer with 5 years of experience. Job one pays 95K. Job two will pay 120K. I was initially not looking for a second job, but one of the recruiters in this company reached out to me, and here we are. I already told my new hiring manager that I'm getting too many messages and phone requests from recruiters from LinkedIn, so it'll be my excuse to hibernate my account. So he's going to work both jobs and then just hide from LinkedIn. Both job one and two are remote, but job two requires on-site first week training. So I'll use some of my PTO and sick days for job one for that. I'm excited. My initial plan is to start saving up money and help myself with my mortgage. Please let me know, and other new overemployed fellas know we should know about when we first start. So this person's going to be making 200K per year from two different jobs. That is freaking insane. That's over 200K. That's 215,000 per year annually. That's absolutely bananas, bro. That's lit. Now, sometimes this is just what you got to do, man, to be real with you. Times are hard. You got to find a way. And this might not seem like the right way. It may not seem, morally right or morally correct, but like these companies, like you guys are seeing the layoffs. You think guys think that was moral? Do you guys think that these companies are playing fair? These banks are playing fair? Like, people aren't playing fair. You don't realize how unfair people are playing until you start working for the companies that are kind of doing dirt. And it's not even really them doing dirt. It's just them, using their strengths against the government's weaknesses, against our weaknesses, and they're just leveraging whatever they can for profit. I mean, I don't see necessarily nothing wrong with it. If you don't hate the player, hate the game. And, if you hating the game, you most likely ain't playing it or playing it the right way. But yeah, this is pretty interesting, bro. It's pretty interesting. This is just where inflation is taking us, to be honest. Like, this is how far we've gotten. People are willing to do whatever to get ahead, and it's really always been this way. I just think inflation and the internet has really put a microscope, a magnifying glass under this type of stuff, and the lengths people will go to be financially free. I respect the hustle. I don't know about you guys. I have I have no ill will towards people that do this, and hopefully I could do it pretty soon. To be real with you, let's check out the inflation. Let's check out the inflation Reddit group. See, this is why I love the internet, bro. Because you can get informed, and a lot of this stuff is interesting, and stuff does repeat itself now. Let's see. Woo. Let's check this out. 80% of Americans now consider fast food a luxury due to high prices. Hey, they ain't lying, man. I went ahead, I got 4 double stacks the other day. It was like $13,000. I was absolutely appalled. I was flabbergasted, bro. I was like, really? It costs this much for some damn double stacks? Like, what is going on? Let me see if I get some sound going. Bear with me here. Okay, we get some sound? Maybe not. Told y'all. Facts. It definitely does, fam. And I hate to say it, this is the people that feel it the most is people that are parents, bro. Like it's really unfortunate. Like I have no idea why I have no idea why this is getting so out of control. And some people are striking. At McDonald's, at Wendy's, people are striking, and they're demanding $20 an hour. McDonald's employees. They were demanding $20 an hour, and so they were like, "Okay, bet we're gonna start. We're gonna start having AI robots." Making these McFlurries. We're gonna have AI robots, making sandwiches, taking the payment at the register. You could tap or put your card in or do Apple Pay, and then the little tray will come out with your food. The tray will come out, and then that's pretty much going to be it. Bye bye employees. Yep. Yep. Exactly. $15 per person at McDonald's is a disgrace. It's absolutely wild. Hey, it's the reality, man. Welcome to the real world. I ain't even gonna bother reading the article. Thank God, because that video did all the hard work, the heavy lifting. You feel me? Let's take a look and see. Amazon is slashing prices on 4,000 grocery items, joining Target and Walmart. Ooh, might have some positive news here for you guys. All right, so Amazon is slashing prices on 4,000 grocery items, joining Target and Walmart. Amazon Fresh is joining the growing ranks of retailers that are cutting prices. It's discounting thousands of grocery items in a bid to entice price-conscious shoppers to add a little bit more to their shopping carts. The online grocery delivery service, which also operates a handful of physical stores, said its shoppers in the U.S. will see discounts every day, up to 30% on 4,000 items in store and online, and those markdowns will rotate weekly. A number of big retailers in recent weeks, including Target and Walmart, have lowered their prices as they strive to pull consumers into stores and online to spend more freely on both essential purchases such as food and more discretionary purchases like clothes, decorative items for the home, arts and crafts, or hobby kits. I feel like hobby kits probably got hit the worst because people are like, "Yeah, I'm too poor to be making flower pots and to be painting at the crib." Back to the article. Retailers are feeling a little jittery after they jacked up the prices as inflation spiked in the recent years. But now households aren't shopping like they used to, and high prices are forcing Americans to choose between wants and needs. Yep, in the game of chicken between stores and shoppers, it's the stores that appear to be yielding. Absolutely, because now it's unnoticeable. You cannot ignore the burn at the grocery store. You cannot ignore the burn, when you buying a new pair of shoes. Like there was once a point in time where like you spent $120, you would get a nice pair of shoes. You would get like a pair of Jordans, you would get a pair of like Air Force Ones. Now you gonna have to spend $150 for like the really good shoes, and Jordans, you gonna have to spend, at least $200, damn near, after taxes. And I don't even think Jordans are still as popular as they once were. I'm over here showing my age, but Jordans were the stuff, and I was in high school like 10 years ago. But back to the article. That's a problem not just for individual shoppers or even big retail chains, but for the whole American economy, of which about 2/3 of shoppers come from consumer spending. Shoppers have pulled back for a year now as costs have risen 20 to 30% higher than they were 3 years ago. My goodness. And as incomes fail to keep up. See, y'all, I don't be capping, right? I'll tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie. Shoppers have pulled back for a year now as costs have risen 20 to 30% higher than they were 3 years ago. And as income failed to keep up, says Sarah White, managing director, retailer, and consumer with S&P Gold Ratings. This is making consumers across income levels look for deals. There's just less dollars for customers to spend. The challenge for retailers now is to shake consumers out of the frugal mindset, she added. What's getting cheaper on Amazon Fresh? Okay, so we're not going to get to specifics on what's cheaper and where. You guys can look that up in your own spare time. But you guys can see that, it's facts, right? This is happening in real life. And we can even go ahead on the ChatGPT, my little buddy over here. How much do you need to make to be middle class? Pretty sure it's about $85,000, I think. No, 75,000. Yeah. Okay, so this is a common approach to define middle class rating, 45 to 105 per year. So the sweet in between 45 and 105 is 75K. So that's pretty accurate. So you need 75K. How much is middle class? Come on. Let me get a specific. We can see it's about 75. Yep. Most Americans are considered the lower end of the range of middle class, 75 to 100K, just to be middle class. Now it's kind of wild, man, because it used to be middle class was $50,000, back in the day. So yeah, bro, things are changing. You got to adapt. If you work in retail, if you work in a restaurant, if you work in any of these jobs where you work in any of these jobs where there's no upward mobility. You're working at Target, you're working at Walmart. Like there's nothing wrong with working. Like there's nothing wrong with working hard. Everybody has to do a job. But if there's no upward mobility, like that's a problem. Like if you're in Target, what are you going to do? You're going to go from the electronics department to furniture. Like they're not going to give you a raise just because you switch departments. So you just got to be realistic and see what they're doing. And a lot of these companies, as far as their employees go, they're really strategic. They're playing a lot of mind tricks so they don't have to give you money. They're giving you new titles. Instead of you being a supervisor, you're now a vice president. You're the vice president of electronics, the vice president of Wendy's. You're not really a vice president. It doesn't come with the vice president pay. You also don't get a corner office because you're working at Wendy's or you're working at Walmart, but they gave you that title instead of giving you more money. And a lot of people are happy with that. It's a very sick mind game. And they do that a lot in the banking industry. There are like 100 of vice presidents in banks, and they're not real vice presidents. It's just a title. But yeah, man, it's pretty interesting, bro. I do suggest that people just take a look, read the room, look at what these companies are doing, act accordingly, see where we're going as a country. And it does appear that the future is technology. Whether you like it or not, there are like banks or not banks. There are other industries, right, that aren't considered like tech. They're not Apple, they're not Samsung, but they double as a tech company. Even banks, you're using a mobile app, you're transferring funds, you're using Zelle. Zelle is in all these banking apps. People need to be able to use your product or service online. So therefore, you are also a tech company. If you're cleaning and you can allow your customers to, you're in a cleaning company and you allow your customers to submit cleaning scheduled bookings, and you need to do that through an app or through a website. So not only are you a cleaning company, you're also a tech company. So you need to like just notice where we're going. Like nowadays we don't even have physical paperwork. Everything's done on the computer. Door-to-door salesmen, they even have iPads now. There was once a time where like you had see some iPads here and there. Now everyone has iPads. So it's just the name of the game, bro. It's just the name of the game. It's where we're headed. And just make sure you're using all of these options, all of these free resources to your advantage. Like Google, like YouTube, like Google, like YouTube, like ChatGPT, like Reddit. This website Reddit is great. Like it's not only good for inflation, it's good or for finding jobs or for reaching out to people that are considered overemployed. It's just great for any specific area or interest because it's just people sharing information, posting, commenting. Lots of people are going back and forth. So you can find this as an opportunity, or find this as a tool to get ready for your next opportunity or to find your next opportunity. So, just got to be open-minded. And there's a lot of people in here. Like in this inflation group alone, there's 47,000 people, 110 online. So, do what you want with that information. Inflation is very real. Lots of people are giving up on the American dream. And this is why, fam, like people are giving up. And I don't blame people for giving up, but when the prices are this high, can you blame them? When this is what you got to work with, can you blame people for throwing in the towel? You even have grown men that don't want to work anymore. You have grown men that don't want to work. They don't want to work, let alone work hard. People are giving up on their credit score. They're like, hey, the houses, this is how much it costs for me to own a house. I have to have a salary income of freaking 54 grand just to live in New Mexico. And that's just for you to live paycheck to paycheck. That's not you investing. That's not including traveling. That's not including all the fun stuff that we get to do or adding a garage onto your house. Just for you to squeak by, you've got to make 54K. And if people, and then, on top of that, once you pay the house off, we had the conversation about what escrow is, the taxes and the insurance. Once your house is paid off, you have to pay your taxes forever. So like, imagine you pay off your mortgage, your 30-year mortgage, and you still have got to continue to pay in high ass taxes. It could be very discouraging. A lot of people are just like, hey, what's the point, man? I'll live in the trailer, or I'll rent out places. I'll live in my car. People are, especially the people that are living in trailers. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with living in a trailer park. Shoot, they saving money. They doing what they got to do. I don't see the problem. And some trailers are nicer than some houses, to be real with you. But people are living alternative lifestyles to save money and to stack their paper. So, you just got to read the room. Unfortunately, the people that refuse to adapt, the people that refuse to learn and hustle and grind, they're going to, they're never going to own anything. They're never going to experience financial freedom. They're never going to have, options or freedom or, air, really. They're going to be suffocated metaphorically. So like it is what it is, man. Only the strong will survive. And it's always been this way. It's always been this way. And some people are even struggling just to get the down payment. You have houses that used to be 125K selling for well over 200 grand. Like it makes no sense. Like if you showed somebody the house market today from 10 years ago compared to 10 years ago, they would faint. If you took somebody from 2013 that just bought a house and you showed them what their house would be valued today, they would be like, they would be in shock. They would be in shock. And these days, people are getting houses, or they've already had houses for a while now. They're afraid to sell. They're afraid to sell their house because the value is so high. It's like a gold rush almost. And, a lot of large companies, a lot of billionaires, a lot of banks are taking full-blown advantage. Pretty soon, owning a house will be a rarity because you have these banks. These banks aren't just doing the loans. They're buying the houses and they're owning companies that are real estate. They're real estate managers at that point. They're buying the house, they're managing the real estate portfolio, they're renting out the houses to people, to families. And the houses will be so expensive. The only people that will be able to afford it will be the banks, because we just won't have enough capital initially for the down payment, and you won't be able to maintain the property taxes, the insurance, and all of the repairs that go with it. It'll be overwhelming. I do worry about my son. Being able to survive. To be real with you, I only have one child. I'm going to keep it that way because I gotta keep it that way because I just can't afford it, bro. Daycare, average cost of daycare is insane. The average cost of daycare is just far, far too high. So it's like, what do you do at this point? Do you give up, or do you push? Do you push? I'm a pusher. It's what I do. I made a YouTube channel. I don't have a college degree, but I'm learning the skills that we actually just researched. I'm learning Excel. I'm learning SQL. I'm learning Python. I'm learning skills for me to get employed. So I can get more than what I'm already making. I already did a live a few days ago explaining like what happened at my job and how I got my job without a degree. And I have other videos on how you yourself can make more money. Can make money higher than the minimum wage in our nation. So, yeah, man, that's all I got to say about this, bro. We did an hour strong practically. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's definitely a really good conversation. It's interesting to look at. A little bit of food for thought. Never hurt anybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Say hi to your mama and them. God bless. And, I hope you guys do well in all of your endeavors. And yeah, man, just don't, I know this could be kind of scary and this may get some people down. Just look at it as a moment of clarity. Don't look at it as like, oh goodness, I'm never going to be financially free. If you're strong, you'll be fine. But if you're weak, we're gonna crush you. Because I'm a dog. You feel me? Like we gonna wear you out. So it's a competitive marketplace, competitive for real estate, for jobs, for life in general, bro. Everything you want, someone else also wants. You're not the only person that wants a house. So when the house goes up for sale in your budget range, somebody might pull up to the seller with cold hard cash, and you over there with your 30-year mortgage. They taking the cash straightforward. They taking the cash up front. The guy with the cash is always wins. So, even your girl, you might lose your girl because somebody else got more paper. So, at the end of the day, money is just paper, but shoot, that paper is powerful and it makes people move. It makes people get up and it makes people get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, makes people work and do jobs they hate. People do some funny things for the paper, man. I'll tell you what. But yeah, just look alive, look alive, look alive, look alive, look for opportunities, look for strengths, look for vulnerabilities and for weak areas. That's what I do. It sounds cold. It sounds like I'm cheating, but like I said, a lot of these companies aren't playing fair. Why should we? Why should I? I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. You guys take care of yourselves. And yeah, man, as normal, healthy don't hurt. I'm out. Peace. Yo.